Yeah. And risk taker, vibe maker. Open app, I ain't praying. I just laugh at the line they laying. All the models, numbers, charts. I just feel it in my heart, then I spray it. Big hit, that's a Hail Mary pick. They shook, I'm just calm with the click. Talk stats, they quote when they sermon. I'm scrolling for that Raw Street German. Dirty Dumb trying to slide in the squad. Bad karma, that boy too odd. Seen too many red cards, late bands. I don't let that touch my hands, but Wilson, man, that boy my cousin. Rain on his boots, let's start buzzing. Folding in a half space, ice cold face, 2 taps, whole rank start jumping. Yeah. I'm the king of the green arrow. Climbing up the ranks, all vibes, not hero. Check graphs, I just trust my marrow. Every risky pick, turn to gold, play the pharaoh. I'm the king of the green arrow. Hit that cap, whole league, go narrow. Chase trends, I'm ahead like tarot. D-Unit crown on the app, that's factual. Group chat blowing, they panic. Crown on the blank, that's tragic. They blame some spreadsheet spirit. I blame that fear they inherit. I bet you swear as a lock. I start the kid fresh off the block. While Wilson, they type in caps. Next day, they watch the breaks on a recap. Why folding, you ask too much. Light on his feet, got the velvet touch. Ghost in the box appeared and vanished. That's real magic, they can't brandish. D-Unit don't run from the smoke. I roll dice where your algo choke. You see risk, I see throne room doors. One right call, I'm 10 floors above yours. I'm the king of the green arrow. Climbing up the ranks, all vibes, not hero. Check graphs, I just trust my marrow. Every risky pick, turn to gold, play the pharaoh. I'm the king of the green arrow. Hit the cap, whole league, go narrow. You chase trends, I'm ahead like tarot. D-Unit crown on the app, that's factual.
Hello and welcome to the late mail, and oh my god, I'm off the center of screen. Look at that, and that is a very good start to the show, let's be fair. But yes, obviously for all those people that joined me just slightly before, it wasn't a good watch along. It was not a good watch along at all, and hopefully with a little bit of luck, this stream goes a lot better than what that South Park watch along did, because I'm still rankled about it, and it's a 2-all draw, but it is what it is. At least we didn't lose. That's what Arteta would say. At least we didn't lose. But I'm disappointed. I'm here to win titles of South Park, and that is not what Arsenal and Arteta are doing. This is the Late Mail Live, your favourite show of the week. It's definitely my favourite show of the week. And with that being said, ladies and gents, let's get into it. So here we are. The Late Mail is here. How do we go in game week, 26? We went pretty well, to be fair. 72 points in the end. Let's go through the team. Lots of people talked triple captain Gabriel, triple captain a defender. It is what it is. Sometimes these things in life happen. Sometimes I've been there. I had triple captain Haaland earlier this season against Leeds, and I got 2 points. So I know how it feels to sit there and go, wow, that just did not work. But Jurriën Timber, 3 points. He was rubbish as well. I mean, I obviously did get 2 clean sheets out of Timber. Ironically, one of them, he got a yellow card, so he only got 5 points. But and honestly, he's up there with Chalobah and Sanchez for just pure disappointment this season. Like, just pure disappointment from the time I've owned him. Yeah, and Mateus Nunes, 4 points. That was so close to being a monster haul. I mean, if he hadn't been subbed 20 seconds before 60 minutes... I tell you what, we would have got over 80 points. It would have been a huge green arrow. Would have been inside the top million teams. And Bumo, 6 points right at the death. That was nice. Bruno, for once, did nothing, which was unusual. Wirtz was close without any cigars. Haaland got his goal, went off for a rest. And then João Pedro, 10 points. I mean, he's proving why I took the -4 for Thiago 2 weeks ago, and he's doing well. Wilson, Mukiele nailed them on the bench this week, along with Bart Simpson. I mean, Bart Simpson actually beat Sanchez by 1, so maybe I didn't quite nail that. And Jared Bowen, as always is the case, against Manchester United, he always returns that man, and he has been absolutely brilliant. So, yeah, sometimes it happens. It is what it is. Anyone that's checking the social league, yes, I'm going to have that right at the end of this stream as well. So keep your eyes out for that. There will be a shout out to those people that are currently leading it, and someone is leading it, then I don't know who it is. But maybe it's you, and then you can let me know in the comments. Anyways, Rice was the star of the show. I mean, I actually, for once, I picked the bloke that scored the most points in my starting lineup as captain. Absolute genius move from the D, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more right now, because that has to be said. It was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So flop and star of the week. The flop, as I said, Pep Guardiola, what feels like forever ago when I did that video, he is definitely the flop of the week. If you're going to make a sub, either make it at halftime. Don't sit there and string people along until that minute where you're sitting there going, can you just walk a little bit slower? Can the ball just not go out of play so we can delay till past 60 minutes? Pep didn't get the memo. And he screwed the D-Unit out of at least 5, maybe even 7 points. And that fell a little bit rough. But in fairness, it's happened to everyone this season, so there's not much more I can say about that. And the star, obviously, João Pedro. You could say Rice is a star. We're going to talk about Rice in a second and the Gabriel thing and why I decided where I went with that. But João Pedro, I was concerned, I will admit, when I did it for a -4 to get Thiago out for João Pedro, and I was like, if this does not work, I'm never going to hear the end of this. I'm just thankful that he's got 8 points, 10 points. Yes, he might be falling over with his hands in the back, whatever you want to call it, but I'll be here, but it's brilliant. So, I mean, he's been great. If he can pull it off against Burnley and get another huge haul and beat Thiago once again this week, it's been a great move. It's been an unbelievably great move. And a lot of people would have been like, why are you doing it? That's why I did it. I'm chasing points. I don't really care. If I get a -4 and I can get more points out of doing it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to keep doing it as well. But let's talk about the real star of the show. And this was, when the first double game week got announced and it was going to be Arsenal, I was like, I'm going to triple captain Gabriel. Like, that was my initial thought, like straight out the gate, before every man and his dog decided that they were going to triple captain Gabriel. And I was like, you know what? D-Unit has not been a sheep all season long. We are not going to start by being a sheep now. We are not going to triple captain, whatever you want to call it. We're just not going to captain Gabriel. We're just going to back against the Arsenal defence. And what are we going to do? We are going to go with the Rice baby. And I can tell you what, Gabriel's not joining the end of season summer party, but one Declan Rice is joining Phil Foden, he's joining Harry Bloody Wilson, and he's joining the D-Unit in the end of season road trip. I'm going to hit him up. Ibiza is calling, mate, Universe. We're going to go there. We're going to have a couple of beers and God knows what else, and we're going to be having a great time. And Rice baby is 100% on board the D-Unit train. He might be out of the team now, but he's on the D-Unit end-of-season trip. So well done to anyone that captained the Rice baby based off just my hunch that I'm going to bet against the Arsenal defence and all the triple captains. My God. By the way, this is a really funny stat, right? So if you triple captain Gabriel and you had Rice in your team, you got the exact same amount of points as people that just captained Rice without a triple captain and had Gabriel in their team. Those two combinations, yes, you can go and add it up. I had to go and add it up and double check it myself. You got 35 points apiece. And I still got my triple captain chip. Hopefully I can make good use of it later on with a little bit of luck. But Rice baby. I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. So, on to the fixture difficulty rating then for game weeks 27 to 32. And look, Brentford for me do go to the top of the fixture ticker. I just really like their fixtures. You can make a case that Brighton are not in good form. Like, I feel like I was so close to turning Brighton into a light green fixture. But then I remembered that Brighton have the capacity to just pull out just random bizarre results that make no sense. And so for that reason, for one more week, I've left them as grey. But if they get battered at Brentford, I can give you the hot tip. Sorry to football fan, whatever you call name is in the chat that you normally show up and try to bait people in on watch-alongs that someone scored when they didn't. But I can guarantee you, next week, they will be a light green fixture if they don't do the business or do something against Brentford this week. Liverpool, I think, have the second best run of fixtures, followed by Aston Villa. I mean, the fixtures in general for those three teams look amazing. Now, Colm, I know you're in the chat. Fulham's fixtures look good. Now, I know there's a lot of love in the analytics community and the cartel that are peddling the Anderson, and I'm telling you, I still don't think Fulham are keeping many clean sheets in that run of fixtures. Sunderland, I expect to score. Spurs, I expect to score. West Ham, I expect to score. Forest is the one where they might keep a clean sheet. Burnley have a habit of blanking teams, so I'm not expecting a clean sheet there. And then why have you got him? If he's not keeping a clean sheet over that run of fixtures, he's not a buy. Sorry, the Anderson hate is definitely 100% back. Wilson love is still there, but the Anderson hate bandwagon is definitely coming back with the D-Unit. In terms of Bournemouth, their fixtures, I'm not sure what I think of them. The two really good ones are away from home. I expect West Ham to score against Bournemouth. I also expect Burnley to score against Bournemouth. Again, I just wouldn't be trusting them. Their underlying defensive data is absolutely crap. And then unlike a lot of the cartel that have Man City down the bottom of the fixture ticker, I've got them number 6 because their fixtures are amazing. They're in good form. They're going to win the league because we're going to talk about Arsenal in a second when I get to them. But the Arsenal bottle job, the Arteta bottle job is 100% alive and active, and they're done. That Wolves was where they lost the league, folks. If you're an Arsenal fan, sorry to break it to you, might as well sit there and prepare for next season because there's more chance of Man United winning the league from 12 points back than, 14 points back, I think it is, whatever it is, than you guys winning it. It's just not going to happen. I hate to say it. I hate to break it to you. Man United have more chance of winning the league than Arsenal. If you can go to Wolves with the squad you've assembled over 5 years and you can't get the biscuit done and you literally did a South Park and just sat off and let them attack, you're cooked. You might as well just put a line for your season. You're not winning crap. Man United, I think they'll be good. They've had 12 days off of rest. Whenever they've had rest, whenever they play one game a week, they've been great. I think Everton gets smoked. Everton haven't been good at home. Crystal Palace, the fixtures look good. However, I don't think they look good. I'm very glad I didn't go there last week. I was weighing up a -8 to bring in triple Palace, and I'm telling you, I'm very glad I didn't do that. And then Arsenal. I've sold Timber. Absolute rubbish asset. I've sold Rice. I love Rice. Especially cooked rice. Brown rice is really good with a little bit of soy sauce. And Rice has been very good to the D-Units team, but I'm telling you, there's better players in the game at the moment. And I think that with the fixtures they've got coming up and the bottle job that's underway, I think you can move him on comfortably as well this week. Sunderland, middling fixtures, and then the rest, I mean, the colours say it all. They're not good fixtures, right? Leeds, Newcastle, Spurs, Chelsea, outside of Burnley at home, absolute rubbish fixtures across the board there. They're down the bottom, very easily to put down the bottom as well. And West Ham's fixtures are very middling as well. And yeah, I don't know. I don't think Forest and Spurs are going to get any pep from their managers being changed. I really don't. I think they're in trouble. I think both teams are really in trouble. So, hot off the press for game week 27, Saka is back. Traore, unfortunately, is not. Mukiele has a hand injury, but it's not going to stop him from playing. It just means that the long throws might not be as long. He might not be taking the throw-ins. I don't know, but maybe it's just manager nonsense. Who knows? Alderete is also okay. He obviously missed out in the FA Cup, but he's apparently fine. Chelsea, I mean, I don't know what to think about Rafinha, but there's no timeline. He couldn't give a timeline on Kukureya's hamstring. So if you got Kukureya, it probably needs to be sold. Ditto. Yeah, I just saw about Ronaldo's out. I'm just reading the chat really quickly there. I've actually got it really set up well on the computer today, by the way. James and Palmer both trained well. But again, he basically said they're day by day. And I'm sitting there, I'm like hearing day by day. And I'm like going, I'm glad I don't have him in my team. I don't have to worry about him. Like I've got the players that I like from Chelsea that I'm pretty confident are going to start, pretty confident going to play. And for that reason, I just don't think it's worth the headache. Yes, Palmer might be a really good captaincy shout this week, but I really do feel it's a one-week play more than anything else. And if you've got 5 transfers, I'd probably do it because I think there is a lot of upside in bringing him in and captaining him this week. But if you're holding for the long term, it's literally a one-week play and then piss him off. Training good after... and then he talked about João Pedro, who obviously went away for summer travel, Palmer, and I think Enzo Fernandez went away as well. They basically said they had a good couple of days worth of training and the others had gone away for a bit of sun training, whatever. West Ham, Potts begins 3-game ban, but Tobito returns from his 3-game ban. So they lose 1, they gain 1. Felipe hopefully will join them soon. I don't think he's going to make this game week based off what Nuno said, but that's just my opinion. In terms of Burnley, Broja, he joins the injury list with unspecified injury. I mean, that's a really brilliant piece of information, let's be fair. Twanzebe, Tresor, Bayer, Cullen, they join the others that are all out. I think Ampadu's also on that list and some other idiot that I don't remember, but he's not an FPL. I mean, Burnley are just not FPL relevant unless you're playing them from an attacking sense. Let's be fair. Leeds, Strike, Stack, and James, they're all back. Okafor's going to be missing for 3 to 4 weeks. That should be pretty good for DCL unit. And Mcheka, I think that's how you say his name. On to Liverpool. Endo is out a long time. He's out a long time. There was no exact date, but he's out a long time. Isaac's looking like a end of March, start of April kind of date back. Frimpong is nearing a return. Szoboszlai's obviously back from his one-game suspension he got against Man City. Gomez could also start. Now, what does that mean? That basically means that Gomez could start at right back. That would be my guess. Szoboszlai probably goes back into the 10 where he's absolutely useless and will probably get you 2 points. Not ideal. And someone misses out. So it's either going to be Gakpo, Ekitike, or Wirtz. One of those three probably misses out. Or McAllister, because he's randomly missed a few games as well of late. On to Brighton. Ari, Webster, and Tismus are still all out. March is trained and could finally again make the squad. I feel like I've not seen Solly March for whatever. It feels like a very, very long time there. On to Crystal Palace. Lacroix has an adductor issue. Now, there was no real update about how long he's going to be out. Adductor issues are really weird. They're not an issue that goes away over a couple of days. So there's no way, in my medical opinion, from my knowledge of having injuries around that similar area, that he plays on the weekend. I think he's 100% out. That makes Crystal Palace defence a hell of a lot weaker as far as I'm concerned as well. Lerm is also out of a hamstring, and he was the bloke that was replacing Gay. He said, God knows what formation they're going to play, who's going to be in the defence. No one really knows. Mateta is apparently another 3 weeks away, and then he basically talked about whether he still wanted to be the manager through to the end of the season. And I just thought that was a really weird line of questioning. Like, they basically, I don't know. I don't know what I thought about it. I didn't like it. It was just weird. It was really weird. I don't know if it was just weird because of the fact I read the transcript and I just thought it sounded weird. And I was like, why is he getting asked about this? Is he going to up and leave? Is he going to resign randomly? It just felt odd. On to Wolves. A Gomez, T Gomez, any Gomez, they could all be fine. The big news here, just like Huang at Bristol City that got injured and sent off and then trained and got injured, Huang is also out for Wolves. So it's like Huang, there's something in that name which just equals ineptitude on a football field, and Huang is not going to be available for Wolves this weekend. On the Bournemouth, Tavernier is back in training. There's going to be a decision tomorrow in regards to whether he's going to be part of the squad, whether he's going to start, etc., etc. Then there was talk about strikers. Krupi Jr., Evan Ilson, basically talking about work off the ball. He's happy if whoever's on the field basically equals a winning result. I don't know. I didn't really know how to take that talk. It just basically sounded like he's fine if he comes off the bench or if he starts. Based on that, I kind of think that he's going to be benched, but I could be completely wrong on that. Then he also talked about Adams and Brooks and maybe increasing their involvement because obviously they're back and probably need a bit more game. On to Aston Villa. Bizzo has been suspended because obviously we don't know whether it's a 1-game ban for the last man or whatever, or if it's a 3-game ban for, what's it called, violent conduct, dangerous play, whatever you want to call it. There's been no decision on that, so God knows what's going to happen there, but he's going to be missing regardless. Matty Cash is back, so if you've got him, hold him and play him because he's back and he should be good to go. Elliott's going to miss. Now, I think there was no reason for why Elliott's missing other than the fact that I think they're very close to that threshold of if he plays any more games or any more minutes, they have to sign him, and I don't think Aston Villa are going to sign him, which means that Elliott's going to be pissing around doing nothing other than sinking beers by himself for the rest of the season because he's just not going to get a game. That's just the way it is. Kamara, Tielemans, McGinn, Allison, they're all still out for Aston Villa, which is not good for them from an attacking sense, I don't think. In terms of Fulham, Lukic and Kenny, they've both returned to training. One could make the squad. Now, he was very non-committal about that. Maybe Colm can fill us in the chat, but I don't know. I feel like Kenny's probably the one more likely to be involved because I think he's been out less time than Lukic. That's just me guessing rather than anything else. They're probably both good. I don't know. Chuck Wazzy, though, is out. He's definitely out. So you're not going to be getting anything from him. On to Spurs. I mean, Igor Tudor, whatever your name is, I mean, he lasts no longer than 6 months without getting the sack or just taking teams into problematic places. He basically said, I'm training with only 13 players and it is what it is. I mean, if it is what it is, why did you take the job? For the money? I'm concerned about Spurs. Very concerned. Solanke apparently had a sore throat, but he's trained and he should be good. Romero's obviously still out for that suspension he got against Man United. I think he's got another 2 games to serve on that, if memory jogs me correctly. On to Forest, there's an unspecified time for their presser, and I checked this about 40 minutes ago, and there was nothing. I couldn't find any news, so I had to just sit there and wrap this up, and unfortunately, I don't have any Forest news. I wouldn't be able to tell you other than the fact they had a really good win away yesterday in Turkey, which I did not expect them to do. So fair play to Pereira. Got them off to a winning start. I don't think, realistically, they're going to be getting much against Liverpool this weekend, but maybe I'm going to be completely wrong. On to Manchester United. Now, Dorgu, De Ligt, and Mount are still out. Now, I've written Dorgu out twice. Why? Because I'm an idiot, probably, more than anything else. Details, again, are very hazy from Carrick in regards to De Ligt and Mount, but it does look like Mount is getting somewhat closer, and De Ligt is probably going to be injured for the rest of the season. That's just my guess. Harry Maguire, he's trained. He should be good. So I would imagine we're going to see, I would imagine we're going to see one change against Everton. Šeško will come in, Cunha will go out, and Ahmad or Mbeumo will head to the left and the other one will be on the right. That's my gut feel on that Everton game, because I really feel like it's a Šeško type of game. On to Arsenal. When asked if tired in regards to Timber and Zubimendi, Arteta's response was, I think they look great. Do you think they look great because they're not winning, or they're tired, or you just think they look good? I don't know. Either way, it's Arteta. He's speaking in riddles as usual. Odegaard and Havertz, they could both be back. But you never know of Arteta. Saka taken off, so not to cramp. Again, does that mean he's going to start on the weekend? Is he not? Who really knows? And apparently Trossard's okay. Manchester City, Pep doing Pep things. Is Haaland going to be okay? Apparently it was a vigorously nodding head. There was no yes, no, no. There was no two words like I predicted. It was just a nodding of the head. Basically, he's probably fit. Savinho's going to be back. Unfortunately, Docker was still out, along with all the other blokes. They are all still out. And Semenyo, there was a lot of praise for him. Can he do it in the Champions League? Talked about how he's always been really good against them, and I think that he's probably going to be good as well. On to Newcastle. There was praise for Gording's pressing ability. And obviously he played as the number 9 in midweek and scored 4 goals. And I captained him in the Champions League, and I felt pretty good about that. 48 points from your captain's pretty nice. Then obviously Botman apparently could be back as well. Probably not Visser or Miley. It's too close for them. And then there was Tino, a progress update. He is progressing. He's just progressing. On to Everton. Grealish is obviously out for the season, so just remind yourselves of that. That is going to impact Everton quite a lot in terms of their attacking output. O'Brien's obviously suspended from the last game. He's going to be missing this one. But Coleman, who would seem the natural replacement, is fit and available. I've just put to replace him. He did not say to replace him. I've just thought in my own head, that's who I think will replace him. If you're a Keane owner, I'd still be selling Keane, because I just think that Coleman will probably fill in there instead of Keane. That's my gut read on it anyway. I could be completely wrong. In terms of Brentford, Sade's back from suspension after that 3-game ban. Players that missed the FA Cup to come back, which I would assume he didn't name check them from what I can work out, but that means that Henderson and Thiago both will probably be back as well. So that's good news if you've got them. I don't have any Brentford players at the moment, and it's something I want to correct over the next couple of weeks. So the essentials this week. Not going to lie, I still feel Bruno Fernandes is the most essential player in the game. If you haven't got him, I'll be buying him. I really do not care what the fixtures are for Man United. Now, I've heard a lot of talk this week about why Mbeumo's not a good pick, because Man United fixtures get more difficult. This rankles me. I mean, especially when Let's Talk FPL Andy says that the Man United fixtures are getting more difficult. Is he a Manchester United fan or is he not? Because if he's a Manchester United fan, he would know that Man United have a lot higher probability of showing up and putting in performance and getting FPL points against a more difficult opposition than if we were playing Wolves. Like, the fixtures for Man United, it's a really weird sequence of events. I've followed them in my entire life. At the moment, the way the team is, we are more likely, I feel way more confident playing Bruno Fernandes and Mbeumo against your Man Cities, against your Liverpools, against your Aston Villas, against your Newcastles, etc., because they're bigger games. I am slightly more concerned about Everton because of the fact that this is the kind of game we suck at. teams that don't sit there and attack, that just sit there and defend. I do think, though, he's essential this week. I reckon there's going to be a penalty for Man United and Bruno's going to take it. That's my gut read anyway. Let's see if I'm right. João Pedro, he's the best forward to buy this week. He is the best forward in the game for game week 27. Watch him as he gets 2 points and probably gets booked and gets 1. But I think that he is the most essential player in the forward line this week. And Semenyo is just behind Bruno for me. I really feel for the next 4 weeks that Semenyo is by far and away the second best midfielder in the game. Yes, I know he blanks. I'm not concerned about that. I'm here for the points. And believe it or not, in the top million teams in the game, Semenyo might be close to 50% ownership. In the top million, he's nowhere near 50% ownership. It's more closer to about 15, 20%. So he's actually a pretty good differential in the top million. So if you're chasing, Semenyo is definitely an option you can look to go to, and definitely one that I'm looking to go to as well. Well, I've already gone to him. Everyone knows this. All right, in terms of the treats, I don't own any of these treats, but I think that they are treats this week. I think that Morgan Rogers is actually a really good pick. I think he's actually a very good pick. I haven't got a space. In my team, when I look at my team now, I don't actually think I need to make a midfield transfer until I wildcard. Like, I actually have full faith in my build, other than Semenyo. Semenyo in game week 31, I might move him out for someone else for a 1 week punt. And I think, I've already got Wilson. He already plays the Burnley fixture. Now I have to check who plays Wolves. Wolves are blanking in 31. So it is. I've already got the best midfielder to have in game week 31. But Morgan Rogers, for the fixtures for the next 7 weeks, I think he's great. And I think he's great again this week with Leeds at home. Dango Otara. The dude's got huge potential. I could make the case to say that Sade's just as good as Dango. But I just look at the fact that when Brentford have been missing players for suspension, from injury, whatever, quite often they've started back on the bench. Now, Sade's missed the last 3 games, a bit like Collins with the stitches in the foot. I actually think there is a world where he ends up, where Dango basically starts and Sade doesn't. I could be completely wrong. Maybe they both start and I'm just talking absolute baloney, which is obviously very possible. But I think he's definitely a treat this week. And then Cole Palmer. I think if you had 5 transfers saved up, I would 100% waste 2 transfers probably to bring him in, and then I'd waste 2 transfers to get him out. And I'd captain him this week. That is my gut read on Cole Palmer. That's all I'll say about it. I won't be doing it myself. I don't have 5 free transfers. I had 2, and I wasn't going to be sitting there wasting them when I've got other Chelsea assets that I really want to sell next week. So for that reason, I just can't go there because I just don't think he's worth a hit. But if you've got the free transfers, by all means, I think he's a very nice treat this week. And on to the traps. Lots of people are going to be getting excited about Dirty Dom, and Dirty Dom is firmly back on the traps menu this week. I hate to say it. I really hate to say it. But the man, when he plays in midfield, particularly in the Premier League, just dodges points. You can't be relying on someone to get a free kick goal every week, to get an assist off a corner every week. It's just not feasible. And outside of those 2 very important routes to points, which is pretty much his only routes to points in the Premier League, he's no good. And he's not going to get the DC if he's playing in midfield. That was one of the perks. I was like, I could almost get on board with him as a pick if he was playing at right back, because at least he might get 4 points. He's back in the midfield. He's probably back to dirty 2-point Dom, and I think he's back in being in the traps. In terms of Munoz and Strand Larsen, I just think Crystal Palace are trap. When I heard the manager talk today, yes, they might look really good on paper. Strand Larsen scored 2 goals, but he's only scored goals in the Premier League this season against Burnley, and he doesn't play Burnley again this season. I know he hasn't played Wolves because he played for him earlier in the season. I think Wolves, based off what we saw against Arsenal, I don't see Strand Larsen scoring against him. Munoz is a fantastic footballer. I don't reckon he's at Palace next season, and I don't reckon Glasner's going to be, well, we know Glasner's not going to be there. I just think Palace are a complete avoid. If I could put the entire team as a trap this week, they would be on the trap. But I'm going with 2 players, Munoz and Strand Larsen. I know they're going to be popular. I don't think you're getting much from them. My gut read, I could be wrong. In terms of the best one-week punts, I think Mateus Nunes, arguably, you could make O'Reilly just as... O'Reilly and Mateus Nunes could be just as good, let's be fair, and I think that they're both going to be pretty good moving forward. Dango, I just talked about him, the explosive potential. I also think that Cherky could be really good value. Like, I know... Cherky's either going to start on the bench and he'll come on and get a return against that Newcastle defence as they're tiring. Because they've been away on an AstroTurf in wherever the hell Karabag is. I don't even know what Karabag is, but whatever it is, it's not very close by. And I think that potentially that's going to be problematic. And then Jared Bowen. There is no love for Jared Bowen, I feel like, in the FPL community, particularly in people that make content, except me. I think, again, this week, he'll be perfectly fine. I'm very happy to have him in my team. He's definitely my forward differential. Now, a lot of people go, why didn't you pick Strand Larson? For the exact same reason. He's in the trap section because I just don't think he's going to perform against Wolves. That's my gut read. And I think Jared Bowen will be great. Bournemouth at home, happy days. Bournemouth concede goals. There's every chance Jared Bowen goes big again. And I think all these four this week, I know I had 4 blanks last week, but the last time I had 4 blanks, the week after I got 3 out of the 4 all haul big. So I feel like this week I'm returning with a vengeance. I picked really good players and I reckon they're all going to hold this week. That's my gut read on it. So on to my game week 27 captains. Who are the top 8 now? I put Munoz in there just because of the fact that I felt like I'd be doing a disservice if I didn't pick one Palace player this week. And I still think he's the best one to have. If you were going to buy a Palace asset, he's the one. And then you could look at captaincy. But I have no faith going near a Palace asset. But he does sneak into the top 8. Semenyo and Haaland, take your pick. I think they're both going to be great. I mean, look at that. I mean, Semenyo's scored 13 goals now from midfield this season. He's like the top midfielder by a country mile in terms of the actual goals he's outputting. And Newcastle home just seems like one of those fixtures where he could just go absolutely mega. Ditto Haaland. I know Haaland's record against Newcastle isn't the best, but he's rested. He's played 45 minutes midweek last week. He's had a weekend off. He's eating food on Instagram. He's got the hair flowing. He's back in training. He's having a smile. He's dressed in pink. He's ready to pop, isn't he? He's ready to just slaughter Newcastle. Rodgers, you could definitely make a case for him against Leeds. Again, I don't mind that. All these guys actually are averaging really good points per game as well, which will give you a lot of faith in actually picking them. I was going to do Verts there, but I've gone with Salah instead, just because of the fact I think a few people might just be making the shift from Haaland to Salah. And I just wanted to show, like, this season, the difference in points per game. You're literally dumping someone that's going at 7.2 points per game to a bloke that's going at 4.6. It's almost a 50% drop-off. And then other people ditching Haaland to go for Palmer again, the drop-off is quite significant. He's only averaging 5.3 points per game. And if we take out the last 2 weeks where he's been gifted 3 penalties in 2 game weeks, he'd be still below 4 points per game. So you've got to take these things into consideration when you go in there, just to throw a spanner in the works. As I said, if I had Palmer, I would captain him. Otherwise, what's the point of owning him for this fixture at home? You'd say that Burnley at home is better than Newcastle at home. And for that reason, I feel like you've got him. You'd have to captain him. Bruno Fernandes, he's really appealing. If he didn't play for Man United, I'd captain him this week. But I know the pain that I've had this season when I do live watch songs of Man United games on the last game of the game week. And every time I've captained Bruno in that game, he's done now. When I don't captain him, he goes big. So if I don't captain him, he'll get me points and I'll be happy with that. So, but I think he could be really good. And then João Pedro, I mean, of all the Chelsea players, he is the one to me that just looks the most in form. And I think he's going to be great again. I don't see any well, but João Pedro is not very good. Other players stiff to miss out. Enzo, Ekitike, Verts and Bumo, Gabriel, Jorgen Strand Larsen, Sarr. I mean, you could make a case for all of them, but I do think that these 8 players are the top 8. And last week, Rice was in the top 8, and he went absolutely monstrous. So hopefully, with a little bit of luck, you're thinking about one of those players that are in the top 8 this week. So wildcard draft. Now, a lot of people are thinking about wildcard draft, and I wanted to go back to this. This is the high-risk draft I came up with. Now, I feel like if you're wildcarding now, you are either chasing mad rank. That's the only thing I can come up with. I know Luke's on wildcard. I know Luke's on wildcard, and I'm still trying to get my head around it. Like Kanji's on wildcard. I'm pretty sure Nightmare's on wildcard. I'm sitting there, I'm pulling my hair out going, why now? What? Just why? I'm one for moving early. We're going to look at my chip strategy in a second because I think I've put it in here, and we're going to talk through why I just don't understand the wild card now. And I get it. Some people's teams might have like 5-6 injuries. Then I understand it. But I feel like some of the I've looked at Nightmare's team, right? Nightmare wants the wild card now, and I hope he doesn't watch his back and he hears me taking the crap out of him. But essentially, I look at Nightmare's team and I go, you could easily just make transfers from now through to game week 31 and then just play a really good wild card in 32. Go differential then and just make hay. I just feel like I preferred, in Nightmare's case, the -12 rather than the wild card. And I'm going to talk to you why. Because I feel like if you're going to go for Mo Salah, I don't think I'd waste a wild card to do it. I think I'd actually just take the hits to do it, because then you could go back to Haaland on the wild card if it goes absolutely arse up. If you wild card, then you're taking the hits to go back to Haaland. That just doesn't feel good for me, especially after you've used your wild card, if that makes sense. But if you're after a high-risk appetite, this draft, I mean, a lot of people probably won't be able to afford this because this does come in at 104.2 million, I think. No, it comes in at 104.3 because Semenyo's gone up to 8 mil. I think this is what I would go with. If you had more money, you could upgrade Canade to Virgil. You could even go to Kirkes. You could go O'Reilly to Nunes. You could go O'Reilly to Gahey if you really wanted to. Yeah, obviously, there's only 3 blankers in here. There's the 2 City boys and Gabriel. So you're not even worried about that. And I think that if you had a wild card, you're trying to set up for a bench boost when you're wild card, right? And I was having this conversation with Nightmare earlier today. Martinez and Kelleher, yes, I know it's a lot of money tied up in your goalkeeper positions, but their fixtures for a long period of time are both great. So you'll have plenty of weeks. You don't have to play your bench boost in a double game week. You might play it on a week where, for example, Kelleher has Burnley and Martinez. I can't remember who he has on that week. But the fixtures do align where you could realistically or feasibly get 2 clean sheets out of both your goalkeepers. And I think that's more imperative than anything else. But that's a high-risk draft. You can make a case you could just ditch Bowen and play João Pedro and play him on field and then bench someone. I don't know who you'd bench in that case, but probably Dango or Thiago or Ekitike, one of those 3. But yeah, again, that's a high-risk draft. In terms of a lower risk, I just feel like this is more intelligent. I feel like the intelligent play, if you were to wildcard, is actually still to stick with Haaland. The reason why is because he's the best forward in the game. Like, I get that it gives you money, but if you're going to waste it on Palmer or Salah, you're better off just keeping Haaland. He's going at more points per game. He's definitely by far and away the most consistent forward in the game as well, which makes a huge difference. And for that reason, I just think that I think that if I was to do it, I'm all for taking risks. I just think that I want the best player in the game. And he is the best forward in the game. There is no ifs, buts, maybes. Ekitike is not better than him. João Pedro's not better than him. Thiago's not better than him. He is the best. So I feel like it's a massive gamble, whereas you can cover the likes of Salah, you can cover the likes of Palmer with those midfielders there. There's every argument that Bruno Fernandes, Rodgers, Dango, Wirtz and Semenyo are all better than Palmer and Salah in their own right, and they cost way less. I just think that for me, I'm all for risks. We all know that. That's not a risk I think is an intelligent risk, if that makes sense. So what are my chip strategy? And look, this is what I'll be doing. I will not be pressing wildcard before the game week 32 playing. I just don't. I've done that every season. I always wildcard during the last international break. This week it just happens to turn out that there's FA Cup before as well, so you'll not actually know all the fixtures. This year it just makes I understand people doing it before, but for me, I just think I reckon I can nail a differential wildcard draft in that game week. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to roll through to then. Triple captain, obviously I've still got it. So I will be playing in a double game week. Now this obviously comes into bench boost as well. I don't want to play my bench boost in a double game week. I just want to play it when I've got 15 amazing fixtures across the team. That's when I'll play it. Now, if it happens to align before I wild card, fantastic, because that will be even better. If it turns out I have to wild card, I will be prioritizing the triple captaincy chip over the bench boost. Why? Because I just feel like you can get a good bench boost out of a single game week. Triple captain, I think, has to be played in double game week. And we still don't know whether there's going to be more than double game week 33 for the rest of the season. For that reason, I think that is my priority at the moment, and I'll probably play it then. That's my gut read on that, and it just depends on who doubles in that week, but I'll be picking someone that's got high attacking potential. I will not be picking a defender, and we roll them with that. And then the free hit. Last year, I got really creative with it. I played it on the last game of the season. It didn't work. I only got 3 points extra from my normal team, and I got absolutely murdered in blank game week 34, and that cost me a top 1K finish. So this year I will not be doing it. That's pretty much what it is. That's my chip strategy at the moment in time. Now, FPL concessions at confessionals. Who captain Gabriel? Who captain Rice? Get it in the chat now. I'm going to start reading the questions, going to start answering some questions before we get into the second half of the show. But just get it in there. Be honest. Did you captain the Gabriel? Did you captain Timber? I mean, if you did that, my commiserations 100%. But if you captain Rice, get it in the chat. Start crowing about it, because that's what it's all about. Gomez FC, D-Unit loves a wang, yes. No, I don't actually. Maybe Mazraoui in. I don't think Mazraoui plays. I just think that Dallows seems to be preferred for whatever reason. And he's actually not playing too bad at the moment as well. Signed a contract for a bit, puts him in the shop window. Yeah, that's right. Tudor is not doing the job for free. Yeah. I just don't know why you do the job in the first place, to be honest. Dirty Dom back in for Saar. Oh, no, that's not a transfer I like seeing in the chat. Mine made up Mukiele over FYI, if I still had Timber, I'd play Mukiele over Timber all day long. Wouldn't even consider it. It's a no-brainer for me. I think Mukiele keeps a clean sheet this weekend. He is one bloke that I expect to haul on my bench this week. And he's just trolling. No way he thinks that really. Yeah, you'd like to hope not. No one buy Bruno. And if you buy him, sell him. Do I need to sell Rice to Dango? Honestly, you can sell Rice to a whole pile of midfielders. It just looks so much better at the moment. Where are we at? You don't need to sell Rice. Yeah, I don't know. I've sold Rice because I think Semenyo outscores him. That's why I sold him. I think Semenyo just dominates against Newcastle. I think Semenyo dominates the next 4 game weeks, to be honest with you. Being trolled by Villa players so often, yeah. I would sell Rice 100%. I'd sell Enzo next week. I'd sell Rice this week. Dango next week. Selling Bruno's after Wolves. Yeah, you can easily do that. Love it. Oh, mate. Dirty Dom's actually not a bad footballer. Let's be fair, but I just think that there's better players. Karabag is in as... there we go. Miles away. I'm keeping Rice and Enzo this week. Thinking Rice to Semenyo for -4. Don't mind it. Won't buy Dango this week. Everton are good at poor at home. Yeah, Bruno... As I said, if he didn't play for Man United, we weren't playing in the last game of the game week, I'd captain him. 100% would just do it. I think Everton... What was that? I think free hit and bench boost left. Don't pull your hair out the unit. Costly mistake if you do, yet true. Creepy and Hill on my bench. Wildcard 28 is about Haaland. Yeah, fair. Captain Gabriel, TC Gabriel, nice. Normal Captain Rice, yes. Neither flagged by Bruno. TC Gabriel, very happy Arsenal's bottling. But Arsenal bottling in the league is just absolute comedy. We're going to talk about it in a little bit as well. TC Gabriel, bar. Felt like a mug. TC and Gabriel annoyed, but weirdly thinking it could have been much worse. Honestly, it could have been. You can see yourself lucky. You should have been sent off against Brentford. I watched that game. It was the second yellow card all day long. The ref obviously had him in his FPL team and triple captained him. And the Wolves game, I mean, what were they doing in that game? I don't know. 3 crap mids, Sarr, Esteval, and Rogers. That's unlucky. So, yes, I definitely do Dango for Rice, 100%. Do you think Canado is almost as good as Virgil? Yes, I do. I do. I've bought in Canado for that reason. Annoyed with Timber. I'm going to talk about it in a second as well. Harvey Barnes, yeah, no. Is Ryan a good pick for the Bournemouth fixtures in Fury? Yes. I quite like Adley as well. I feel like Adley's a lock. There's not much between them. No one's talking about Adley, or Audi, whatever you want to call his name. He's been just as good as Ryan the last 4 or 5 weeks. Play Bowen or Rice, I play Bowen. Bournemouth concede goals. You'd expect Jared Bowen to be involved. Bruno G, Chalobah and Timber out for Collins, Verts. I would not be doing Collins in. I just wouldn't be doing Collins in. I don't even know if he's lost his place or what's going on there. I'd be holding fire on the Collins move this week. Sell Rice next week. You definitely start Man City defender versus Newcastle and Boomo at Everton. You've got to play in Boomo against Everton, I think, as well. All right, I'll get back into the questions a little bit. Let's carry on with the show. There we go. All right, Pubcast differentials. Unfortunately, I've updated this. In the end, Mad Wakey matched to Strand Larson, but I'm giving the win to Roberto because Strand Larson got it in 1 game. Gary needed Mad Wakey to play the 2 games in order to get his 13 points. Kanji's had a mare, picking Havertz in a double game week, and he didn't show up for either game. That's annoying. Nightmare went with Saar, 2 points. Superman 6. I mean, Martinelli, in that game against Wolves, Martinelli is a very big reason why Arsenal didn't win the game. The dude had numerous chances to score and was just crap. Like, hands down, he was just no good. He probably cost Arsenal the win. He should have scored at least twice in that game, and he should have been on for a big thing, but it is what it is. But yeah, it is what it is. So, differentials for this week. Now, Triggs stolen Saar off Nightmare. As I said, I've just talked about Palace for what feels like a lot. I think they're in a void. I really think that the entire team is in a void. I'm not convinced Saar does anything. I know Triggs probably slightly biased because he's got him in his team, but it is what it is. Nightmare's gone with Marmoush, and I quite like that. He was going to feature in the 1 week punts, but I went with Cherky instead. I think that Marmoush starts because of the fact that Savinho I don't think is going to be ready to start. Doku's still out. Foden's kind of out of favour, which opens up the left-hand side for Marmoush to start. Marmoush loves playing Newcastle, so I love that move. Mad Wakey for Roberto this week. I think you've missed the boat there, Roberto. I just think the Arsenal bottle job is well and truly on. Gary's gone with Neto against Burnley. He's gone back to his tried and trusted strategy against Burnley. And to be fair, it's probably a pretty good strategy because they do concede a lot of chances and a lot of goals. Kanji's gone back to the Esteval. Well, I'm not sure about that one. I don't even know if he'll show up. Yeah, who knows? And then I've gone with Dango. Dango's now gone up closer to 1% ownership since I made this graphic, but he did start the week when I did this, put this together at 0.6, which basically suggests that a lot of people are thinking what I'm thinking, that Dango could go big against Brighton. So with a little bit of luck, hopefully it does. But that's what the differentials for the Pubcast are looking like for game week 27. So on to the thing you can beat the D-Unit League. Now, I've finally gone up to 631. I mean, I got a green arrow this week, but it wasn't as big as I thought, and I've only gone up about 40 places in the league based off that. I mean, I do have the triple captaincy chip still in the bag, which is obviously good news moving forward. In terms of the A team, now he is doing his best Arsenal impression at the moment, because I tell you what, Henry's bottling it. He is bottling it at the top. He's down to number 12 in the world now, and I've looked at Dylan and Ryan Griffin, or Griffiths. I'm sorry if I've got your last name wrong, mate. But they're within 30 points of Henry now. Like, we've got multiple people inside the top 1,000 teams worldwide in the league that I know that are active in the WhatsApp chat. So if you haven't joined the WhatsApp chat, you probably need to, because there's actually people in there in the top 1,000 teams that are having really good seasons and probably give better advice than I'm giving you. In terms of the lowest score, Killshot, 48 points this week. That's actually a really high low score. Unlucky Muhammad. Bench disaster, Corbet's voodoo, got voodooed. I feel like he's been in this position as well already this season with the bench. Maybe he needs some help with his benching decisions. He seems to get more points on the bench than me, but unlucky Corbet leaving 23 points on the bench. The sharpest trader this week was mulling over it, which was Alfie. He was also the hit hero. So he made 24 points, well, with the -4, so plus 20 points. Well done, Alfie Littlewood. I mean, that's a really good a really good week to take a hit and get plus 24 points, I can tell you that much. In terms of No Chip Warrior, that was FC Den Bosch. Well done, Robert, with a big 96 points without a chip this week. That is huge in a week where there was a lot of triple captains and bench boosts and everything else flying around. One Move King, the Verts is over. It was, because for Ross Bremer, he made 15 points from his one move. My guess is he sold a defender that got 2 points for Virgil, who got 17. That would be my guess as to the transfer he made. In terms of the transfer tangle and painful hit, unfortunately, it's quite fitting, the name of the team. Unlucky, Ethan. You're going to win this. The Gooners aren't winning anything, mate. The Gunners are not winning anything. And I saw your team name and I thought, that's really apt that you've taken a painful hit and your transfers have backfired. I'm assuming that one of them might have been Timber for Virgil and for a hit, and that just feels god-awful. So unlucky, Ethan. And well done to Paul. I know Paul's quite often regularly in the chat. He was the manager of Game Week 26. A huge 104 points. The Verts case Vicario. He played his bench boost to get it, but that is a very nice week. Look, anyone that played the triple captain was wishing they got 104 points, but in reality, all they got was 21 from Gabriel, and that feels a little bit meh. So memes of the week, the bottler. Now, I've put a couple of these things in. Now, obviously, the joke is obviously on Arsenal. The Arsenal crumble is definitely up and about. It's a very popular breakfast food around this time of the season, and it's firmly back in business. Now, everyone's probably wondering why there is a seagull on the screen. That is purely for Rahi. Now, someone took a photo of the game and put it in the WhatsApp chat, and I just had to mention, because Luke always calls Rahi a seagull, and the fact that some bloke went to the game dressed as a seagull and was watching the 3-0 loss, he doesn't look impressed. Neither does that poor kid next to him, wondering why did we waste 6 hours on a coach to go up and watch us lose 3-0. Shout out to that poor kid. Hopefully you're having a better week this week, but I dare say you might be whatever. Then Tommy's hiding the Arteta bottle job, but he bottled the Footium League last season just as much as Arteta's bottling it. The Arteta choke is definitely up and about as well. Now, I put the Bruno Fernandes one in just to show that I don't mind this one as well. So this was from Tommy AFC, shared on, I think, X or whatever. Arsenal will face Manfields in the FA Cup. Man City will face Newcastle United. Chelsea will face Wrexham, and Man United will face the television. Well, I tell you what, I'd rather watch the television at the moment, because watching Arsenal crumble like an absolute sack of potatoes into the abyss is actually really good television. And then obviously we've got, I think that's Would I Lie to You, and I found this one quite funny. I once sacked our best manager in the last 40 years because he didn't get on with my mate. Replaced him with an egotistical fraud who nearly sent Spurs down, to appoint Dyche 8 games in, to sack him and get the guy that had Wolves with less points than a triangle at Christmas. That actually blew my mind. Whoever put that together, fair play. That's got to be the best one of the week by a country mile. I mean, it's just hilarious. It's just hilarious. So on to the card calls in Game Week 26. It did not have a good week yet again. It's getting smoked. The card's getting it more wrong than right on the late mail. In the deadline stream, FYI, it's got a much higher success rate. I mean, it picked Rice over Gabriel captain this week, hence the D-Unit with the Rice captain. It didn't get the bowling on right the week before, but that's neither here nor there. It's now up to 85 correct for the season, 27 draws, 98 wrong. It's almost going to hit 100 wrong this week, probably. Wait till you see the ones I've got cooked together this week. All right, so the cards team, it's having a mare. So it only got 39 points in Game Week 26. It's made 2 transfers. Now, the card does weird things. It bases its decision on whether it lands up yes or no, and we've made 2 transfers. The cards team has got rid of Jurrien Timber. He's shown him the door for Virgil van Dijk. And Enzo Fernandez has been sent out the door for Cole Palmer. So the card's going all in on the Cole Palmer bandwagon, and unlike Trig, who's a little bit scared of everyone else, the card is not scared of anyone. And the card is going to be captaining Cole Palmer for the fixture, and it's vice-captaining João Pedro. So that's what the cards team looks like. I mean, there's a lot of players it doesn't have that I think it should have personally, but it makes its own decisions, and that's what it's gone with. It's not probably... I mean, if it finishes in the top 6 million teams, it's probably had a good season because that's better than 50% of the blokes out there. Because when you're just deciding decisions based on a bunch of names and the card landing yes or no, what can you really expect? I mean, it's got Harry bloody Maguire on the bench. That says it all, really. So, the random card questions this week. These are the questions. Remember, if it lands that way up, it's a yes. If it lands that way up, it's a no. Let's get straight into it. Haaland to be fit, start, and score a goal against Newcastle. The answer is no. Sell Bowen to Thiago for a hit. Apparently, that's also a no. Is being cheap, picking Kanate over Virgil van Dijk a smart move by the D-Unit? The answer is no. Will Arsenal keep a clean sheet versus Spurs? This will be yes now. Actually, I've lost the card. Oh, no, it's a no. It's a no. It's a no for that one as well. Will Man United bounce back with a Monday night win? Please be yes. No, that's also a no. Well, I mean, it's going no's on all of these. It's not good. Man City to now win the Premier League. It's finally called one. Man City to win the Premier League. The card's calling it. Did Luke get his ass handed to him by the D-Unit today in Footium? No. So his team is not Milan Savage here. The snake is up and about. Is Gary a Rahi in Footium disguise, as in missing in action? The answer is yes, because Gary's team got smoked today, 6-1, in case anyone was wondering. And have all the Footium clubs confused the Murat spreadsheet? The answer is no. Apparently Murat still knows what the hell he's doing, so that's good to know. Well, shout out to you, Murat. So, onto the card calls then for game week 27. Remember, if it lands that way up, it's the player on the left. If it lands that way up, it is the player on the right. The first one is João Pedro versus Cole Palmer, and it's going with João Pedro. Senesi versus Hill. It's going with Senesi. Sade versus Dango. So I feel like I've picked really good ones this week that people might like to ask questions about later. That's going with O'Dango. Bowen versus Thiago. I mean, I was going to say, if this picked Thiago after it said don't take Bowen out for a hit, that would have been unbelievably criminally made no sense. I can't think of the word I'm looking for. It's picked Bowen anyway. So 9 here there. Verts versus the dirty 2-point Dom. It's going with Verts. Rogers versus Semenyo. I hope I made the right decision here. Oh, no, it's picked Rogers. Maybe I brought the wrong bloke in. Dubravka versus Sanchez. Well, at least that's something. It's picked Sanchez. Mukiele versus Wilson, which for me, in my own team, they're currently both on the bench. Let's see what the card thinks of that one. And it's going with Harry bloody Wilson. There you go. So those are the card calls for game week 27. Make of them what you want. Hopefully they... Gary, you did win yesterday, but you lost today, mate, and you're 3 points already behind the D-Units team. So, on to the Yoda Murat segment, and we've got a couple of really popular birthdays this week. So, well done to Paul Van Riesenberg. Just butchered your name then, haven't I? Sorry, Paul. But he turned 44 on the 18th. I wished him happy birthday, I think 2 days ago now, it feels like, give or take. Maybe it's one day, I'm not sure. I think he's in South Africa. So shout out to you, Paul. Hope you're having a drink for me tonight. Robert Gatsby, that is incorrect. That should say the 21st of the 2nd. I'm not sure what's going on there. I've cooked the date, but well done. It's your birthday today in Australia. If you're in Australia right now, it is your birthday, which means you're 38 years old or 39, give or take. Then Luke, the number 2 admin, his birthday is on Sunday, the 22nd of the 2nd. He turns, I think, 31 or 32. And then Colm, who I'm sure is in the chat, I'm pretty confident I saw him in the chat. It's his birthday, so happy birthday to Colm. If I've got the dates correct, today's Saturday. Colm's birthday is on Monday. So shout out to you, Colm. Now, there was no date recorded next to Colm's name, so I'm not going to speculate how old he is. But shout out to Colm. Happy birthday. In terms of the Game Week 26 winners, in terms of the score predictions, I can't believe it's the Colm show. Colm got 3 out of 11 correct, along with Marcus. So fair play to them. 3 out of 11 is pretty good success rate and much better, as I always say, than Rob T's predictions. We do a much better job. So on to my team selection then for game week 27. This is what we're going with. We've obviously made 2 transfers. Jurriën Timber has been shown the door for Canade, who is on the bench. Now, the reason why is because, as you can see, there's only 0.1 million in the bank. Now, if I bought in Virgil, I had to take a hit, and it probably would have been Jared Bowen to Thiago. Now, I wasn't confident with that because of the fact that I think that West Ham go pretty well against Bournemouth, and I just think that it's much for a muchness. I don't think I'd make the -4 up there. So it's Canade in. Now, if you're looking at Canade versus Virgil versus Kirkes has 1 goal and an assist this season. Virgil van Dijk has 2 goals. Canade has 1 goal. In terms of the defensive contribution points, Virgil has got it 11 times. Canade's got it 10 times. Virgil's played 1 game more. Canade's played 1 game less. There is literally nought other than that 1 extra goal to separate between Canade and Virgil van Dijk. For that reason, I was very confident that I'd go the differential route, and I've gone with Canade. So if anyone's wondering why I've done it, that's why I've done it. And it was just enough money in order to move Rice out of the team for Antoine Semenyo. Now, I did this. I was speculating. I was in the WhatsApp chat. It was me and Nightmare talking, and I was talking for all the permutations about how to get Semenyo in because I sit there and this season, right, I just think about earlier in the season when Foden got those big hauls right, and then I kept him for another 4 weeks. In reality, I should have just sold him earlier, and I feel like Rice has got the 14 points right. And a lot of people are going to sit there and look at the 14 points and go, he's going to haul again. He's going to haul again. But I look at the fixtures and I look at the way Arsenal are playing, and I'm like going, no, he's not. And he might. I could be completely and utterly wrong on this, and it backfires massively. But I think that this move is actually a very intelligent move. And I've got to realise that my rank, and hopefully we get inside the top 1,000,000 this week, you've got to take risks. And you can't be showing players love that is unwarranted. Wilson was obviously on the chopping block, but then I looked at the fixtures and I was like, I want to bring Wilson back in. And I don't need him this week, so he can just sit his ass on the bench, and he is last on the bench. Maybe based on what the card just said before, I might swap Wilson and Mukiele. I'm not sure. Not sure what I'll do there. Either way, I'm very excited to get rid of double Chelsea defence. Next week, on Saturday night maybe even, after I've had a couple of drinks, Sanchez may end up out of the team and Kelleher in. Like, I'm sick of seeing Sanchez. The only reason why he won't is because Bart Simpson next week plays Nottingham Forest at home, which I don't think's that bad of a fixture. So maybe I don't need to make a keeper transfer. And it does seem like a bit of a waste, but the rest of the team looks pretty good. I am playing, a lot of people probably wondering, I have weighed up benching Gabriel for Mukiele or Canade because that is like the other conundrum I've got. But the rest they're all locked. I've got no doubts playing Mateus Nunes, Chalobah, Semenyo, Wirtz, Bruno and Mbumo, Pedro, Haaland and Bowen. Yes, it looks like another really good bench boost week, but in reality, I don't have any faith in Bart Simpson getting a return. And I just think that Mukiele playing Wilson is not a recipe for both players returning. And everyone knows when I play my bench boost, I want 15 good players with no clashes. That's what I want. When I get that, that's when I'll play it. Unfortunately, this week, again, there's a little bit of a clash and we will not be playing it. So on to my score predictions then for game week 27. And Murat, I hope you're paying attention. You write this down. I'm going with an Aston Villa 2-1 win against Leeds. I think they'll have just enough to get the job done, but I do expect Leeds to give them a right old game. I'm going with a Brentford versus Brighton 1-1 draw. I feel like this is the kind of week where Brighton have been absolutely woeful and they just pull something out of their ass. So I'm going with a 1-1 draw there. I think Chelsea, hopefully, maybe this is just foolhardy. I'm going with them to actually keep a clean sheet and to win 3-0. I think João Pedro will be really good again. And ideally, Chalobah scores a header. That would be the icing on the cake. West Ham versus Bournemouth. I'm going with a West Ham win. I think they're in good form. I think Bournemouth away from home are not very good at stopping the goals going in. And I think West Ham will take full advantage. I'm going for the comfortable, customary 3-0 scoreline for Man City over Newcastle. I can't see a world where Newcastle do anything other than lose after being in Azerbaijan a couple of days ago. Yes, they had a very good win there, but they conceded away at Karabag. they're going to go to Man City, and Man City are probably going to take the foot off the... This game could have finished 3-1. I think Man City race into a 3-goal lead, take the foot off the gas. Newcastle might get a goal back, but I'm hoping they don't. If they do, Mateus Nunes is subbed post the 60-minute mark, please, Pep. Crystal Palace versus Wolves. I think Crystal Palace make a meal of it. I really do. I don't think they win. I'm going with a 1-1 draw. Sorry, anyone that owns Palace assets. Nottingham Forest versus Liverpool. I'm also going for a shock result here. Based off what I've seen yesterday, I think Forest are actually going to give Liverpool a really good game. I'm not convinced. I know Liverpool have been better, but they played Brighton, and that's the key ingredient there. They're now away from home. Their form away from home hasn't been as good. I think this game's going to be tricky. I think it might be 1-1. Sunderland versus Fulham, I'm also going with 1-1. Maybe that's why the card reckons Wilson's going to outscore Mukiele, because Wilson's going to get the points. Maybe that's the case. I'm going 1-0 there. I'm also going 1-0 Spurs versus Arsenal. I think the Arteta bottle job is 100% on. We'll have a look at my hot takes in a second, because they might be a little bit controversial. And sorry, Arsenal fans, but I've seen this story before. I've seen this movie before, and I know how it finishes. And it's not a good finish for Arsenal fans. And then Everton versus Man United. Yes, I expect us to concede, but I think we'll be far too powerful for Everton with 12 days worth of rest, with a bit of sun into the legs of Bruno Fernandes. I think he's probably going to run havoc. And I think that the pain at Everton's new stadium for Everton is going to continue, and Man United to send the D-Unit off into a very nice week-long siesta where I'm starting to dream of us winning the league again. So on to my hot takes finally. Expect Newcastle to do what they do away from home and after Europe. And I hate to say it because I know Nightmare and Gary have been watching, but they'll be very bad. That's just my gut read on them. That's my hot take. Man United to win to enhance a very strong finish to the end of the season. My team again to leave points on the bench. I think that is inevitable. I'm aware of it. I'm not even angry about it. I just hope that the blokes that are on field actually get me some nice points as well. Arteta to completely bottle it again. It's already begun. There's no ifs, there's no buts, there's no maybes. It's definitely started, and I think he leaves in the summer, because there's no way the Arsenal fans, having got into this comfy position, will tolerate them not winning the league this season. In fact, they shouldn't, because it's not good enough. The squad that Arsenal have got, the fact that everyone else has been rubbish this season, until Man City aren't even that good, but Arsenal are just doing Arsenal things. The bottle, the bottling is ready to be had. I mean, it's like drinking from a bottle, and then Arsenal just bottling it. They're bottling the will to win. They've got to start learning how to put teams away. If you can't put the team that's 20th away and win and get 3 points towards winning the league, you're cooked. You're absolutely cooked. The days of the DC this season are over. I think we're going to hear less and less about it. Why? Because DC's good over like a 10-game period. We're now into the last 12 game weeks of the season. People are pushing. They are not going to be looking for 10 blokes to get 4 points every game. They're looking for 10 blokes that can get 10 plus points per game. And I think that's all you need to know about the DC. I think it's firmly and utterly, for the rest of the season, it's not going to be about the DC. If you get the extra 2 points from your player, fantastic. Defenders, maybe, yes. But in terms of midfielders and forwards, you are chasing the ceiling scores. Otherwise, you're playing the game wrong. That's my gut feel. Chelsea, I think, will finally keep a clean sheet, hopefully rewarding the D-Unit's faith and patience, which has been put to the test by those absolute frauds. And Liam Rosenior, I tell you what, you'll be on the flop of the week if you cannot keep a clean sheet against Burnley at home, because that is just a pathetic effort if you can't keep a clean sheet over those 4 games you've had. And then Crystal Palace to make a meal of Wolves. I don't know which way they're going to make a meal of it. I don't know if it's a meal that they're going to sit there and turn back with a little bit of extra. I'm concerned for Palace. I really am concerned. They do look like a team that is completely and utterly in free fall. And yes, I definitely bottled the analogy. I've just seen that. All right, on to the Footium race. Now, unbelievably, we're only 2 games in. Obviously, if you want to sign up, you can change. I've also doing watch-alongs of my season. And South Park, I don't want to talk about it. I'm still salty about it. I don't like not winning, and I drew. So that was very frustrating, but to all. Anyway, you can sign up for free using the barcode on the left-hand side. You can enter the comp to win yourself well, not, why do I keep saying a signed D-Unit shirt? It's not going to be signed. Unless you meet me in person when I go to the UK later this year and you live there and you win the shirt, then I'll come and sign it for you. I'll travel to you and sign it in person if you want. But this is your chance to win a D-Unit shirt. You need to obviously sign up using the link on the left, and then make sure you join the mini league code, which is the social log code, which is on the right. Both of them are in the stream description as well. And at the moment, Grandals Athletic, I have no idea who that is. Neither does Murat. They're winning. And Seldom Vale, I'm sure is Luke, who bought a team in order to try and screw me over as Brittle City. I tell you what, Luke, South Park might just tank this season, and I'll send all my players to Brittle City just to make sure you don't win, baby. That's what's going to happen. Anyways, it's great fun. I'm loving it. There's an actual WhatsApp group chat for Footium as well. If you want the link for that, join the main WhatsApp chat and then just send me a direct message and I'll add you to the Footium WhatsApp chat group instead as well. We talk about the game. It's a lot of banter. It's a lot of fun. That's all I can say. Shout out to them. They're sponsoring your channel again this week. It's a really good, it's something I enjoy and I think it suits really well. So lastly, on to your questions. You got any more questions before the deadline stream tomorrow? Please get them in the chat now. There will be live watch-alongs tomorrow. Remember, it is a later deadline. There's no early kickoff. The first games are at 3 p.m., which ironically is when South Park start as well. And I tell you what, Chili, Luke, the analogy, the study of bums. You come to the UK, bring a pen. Yes, I'll bring a big fat black texter. You're a scientist. Cheers for the stream, mate. Anytime. Ryan, there he is. He's second. He's up there. He's pushing to win FPL. He's inside the top 1,000 teams, guys, and he's in the stream. So he's got a lot better idea than I do this season. But I feel like the longer the season's gone on, the better I've got. So hopefully I finish well. D-Unit, better analogy, not bottling up thumb, mate. Yeah, I've bottled it, haven't I? Dev, how are you going? Ray, Gabriel, Munoz, Alderado, Bruno, Rogers, Enzo, Semenyo, DCL, Haaland, Dubravka, Cooper Jr., Gabunson, Timbo. I would probably roll in your case, to be honest with you. I think your bench is looking pretty good there as well. Where are you going to... I'll go all over the place. I'll be going to watch the football. I'm probably going to be there in the summer. Actually, I will be there in the summer. So I will be going to a box park, either in Croydon. Where are the other ones, the box parks in the UK? I'll be going there and I'll be watching England. I'll have my England kit on. I'll be sinking piss and I'll be chanting chants that I can't chant on the channel because they might shut me down. About the RAF bombers. I'm going to shut up now before I get myself in trouble. But yeah, anyways, anyone that's watching, I'm going to quickly pause this. I'm going to keep answering questions, but for the people that watching on audio, please rate it 5-star. I'm going to finish recording there and I'll see you on the deadline stream tomorrow. So that's that one done. And I'll keep answering a few more questions before I wrap it up for the night. Anderson J or Anderson E. FYI, I've got something. If anyone wants a piece of unbelievable intel today, I got a letter to the house called Elliot Alderson. Now, I was talking to Luke about this off stream before, and that is the definition of a sign that Elliot Anderson's going to haul this week. I don't know why. It's just so Elliot Anderson, 100%. I'll be starting him. Joachim Anderson, FYI, he's a sell. He's definitely not a buy. He's 100% a sell. That guy is a fraud. He is an absolute fraud. Are you wearing just the card? No. Start Timber or Senesi? I'd start Senesi. When I win the t-shirt, you're going to send me one of your miniature kids size one. So I will send you a miniature size one just for you, Simon. Timber or Mukiele? No, I'll send you a proper size one. You guys tell me the size and I just order it. Timber or Mukiele? You've got to play Mukiele up the Caston Rovers. Yes, very nice. World Cup unit. Yes, I'm going to do some World Cup fantasy as well, probably. Going to keep the channel rolling throughout the summer this year, or the winter over here in Australia. It's quite nice because winter here is much nicer to stream in. It's 38 degrees today and it's 39 tomorrow, so it's going to be a hot day here. D-Unit World Cup match watch along will be, mate, it will be. We're all meeting up to sing Rahi Gotta Go. Watching on there, clip that up. Dean, are you finally going to captain Haaland after so long? I am. Haaland is my captain, FYI. Sorry. Yes, Gamer Fanatics. That is my plan at the moment. What do you think of my wildcard 2018 for next week, Dean? Keller, Verbruggen, Gabriel, Van Dijk, Nunes, Gudmundsson, Cash, Vert, Semenyo, Bruno, Sade, Rogers, Ekatike, Thiago. I don't mind it. I actually think it's really good. Again, as I said to Nightmare before, the issue I've got with wildcard before 32 is that the majority of people who are wildcarding are looking to play their bench boost in 33 because of the fact they've already wasted their triple captain right. Now, if that's the case, I feel like, because I've still got my triple captain, it influences my opinions on it slightly differently. But I think that you could realistically make a case where I think if you're wildcarding 28, I'd be looking to play a bench boost in 29. Like, that's my gut read. I understand why people are doing it to try and get like ahead of the field. I just think that you've got to set your team up. That's why I haven't played bench boost yet. My team just hasn't quite aligned for me to press the button, and I've been almost correct about it the last few weeks. I've left at least one return on the bench, but it's actually worked out pretty well. Yeah, Elliot Anderson, he could be really good. 2 questions, mate. Matty Cash or Mukiele? I'd play Mukiele over Matty Cash. I feel like they both concede, but I feel like Mukiele's got a good chance at DC. The Semenyo or Haaland, this is a tough one. I've got Haaland capped at the moment, but the more I've thought about it, the more I quite like Semenyo. Yeah. I feel like that's a very 50-50 one. Let's see what the card thinks. Semenyo or Haaland? The card's going with Semenyo, so there you go. Yeah, that's a tough one. Anderson with one attacking return from Big Holly. Yes, he is. Can I choose what style song Luke creates for me when I smash the Footium Social League? Yes, you certainly can. You certainly can. Luke loves making songs. I'm still waiting for the South Park one. I mean, after tonight, maybe it's going to be D-Unit. It has to go because that was... I outfought myself. 11 shots in the first half for 2-2, and I bottled it, completely changed the formation at half-time. We did absolutely nothing in the second half until Frosty right at the end, and the game cut off and ended 2-2. Disappointing. Ayer or Virgil? I feel like Virgil's probably more of a lock than Ayer, but if you wanted to go differential, I'd go Ayer. Best defender under 4.5 for the next 5, it's Ayer. Definitely. It's definitely him for the next 5, Luke. 100%. 4.4 mil. He's got attacking threat. I think he's got 2 assists for the season. And he's very good for DC as well. And I think that the fixtures for Brentford have a high chance of actually being clean sheets as well over the next 5 to 6 weeks. So, yeah, I don't mind him. Anyways, I'm going to finish up there. I'll be back for the deadline stream tomorrow. I'm going to answer one last question for an Astro here. Bring in Virgil for one of the double Arsenal defence this week on X. I'd bring him in this week. Honestly, I'd bring him in this week. And on that note, folks, I'm going to pause it there. Thank you very much for joining. It's been a pleasure. I've missed doing the late mail, and it's great to have it back. And I'll see you all tomorrow for the live watch-alongs, the deadline stream, and all the other good stuff.